Oh, yes. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. We are streaming live, a few technicals there, but I think we've got it all sorted now. Welcome to the show. This is the 411, and we have a special guest in the building. We've got Janette Barrett, and I am here, Lady B. I'm here with my co-host, the house party queen, and we together will be interviewing Merlina Pearl. Okay, so we'll be interviewing Janette Barrett, who is the producer director of the musical Merlina Pearl, a Windrush Story. In the meantime, let's listen to some soothing music after a hard day's work. Good evening and welcome to the show. It's all over the gaff this evening. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm quite excited, in actual fact, because I've got my co-host, House Party Queen. She's in the green room. I'm just going to bring her in. Good evening, lady. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Feeling a bit harassed with all those technicals, but
You know what it is? It's not even so much the technicals, it's the
yes,
heat.
it
We've
is.
got some hot weather going on here right now. I've got my water here. I
Yes.
can't find my fan. I'm distressed.
I can't turn on my fan because it would start to hum. One of my laptops is heating up that you can hear the fan on it. But you know what? I never complain about the heat because I absolutely love the heat. I take the heat over the cold any day.
Any day, any day,
Yes,
any day.
yes.
But we have a wonderful guest. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to be co-host. I'm deeply honoured.
Not at all. I think you would help me to do it some justice. So I thought best thing to do is to just invite you along. We have a special guest in the building. We have a lady by the name of Janette Barrett. And she is the producer. She basically owns the um, comedy and tragedy theatre company. And she has produced and directed a musical called Merlina Pearl. And this is a Windrush story. So I'm hoping she'll be ready for us any minute now. I can't. She's in the green room. Oh, there she is. So I'm going to, without further ado, because we don't want to do too much. We want Janette to do more of the talking. So I'm going to bring her in right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's Janette Barrett. Good
Hello.
evening.
Good evening, both of you. How are you?
Very, very
Hot.
well.
Nice change.
Yes. Nice change indeed. I'm enjoying it. Though it's hot, I am enjoying it.
Yes,
I hope you are too.
very much so. I'm in yellow. I'm
Well,
embracing the sun.
you are embracing the sun indeed and looking very lovely on camera. And
Yes.
welcome. As I said to Lady B, I'm kind of honoured to be part of this, especially as we did a Windrush programme at the weekend raising money for charity. So it's very apt that it's still part of Windrush and that you are here with your musical about a young lady that had been on, I'm assuming, the Windrush and
Yeah.
her experiences. So, sorry, I'll pass it back over to Lady B.
Well, Jeanette, I was introduced by Dee Bailey, and I reached out to you literally a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'd love to interview you because you've got a story to tell about this musical. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Janette, as in machete
Is
Barrett.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't correct me all this time.
No, I like to do this. 'Cause I like bringing the machete. If I correct you beforehand,
Yes.
no one hears the machete.
I do
Right.
like that. Janette like machete.
Yeah. There's a reason for the machete, you see, because I cut to the quick
Mm.
and I tell it straight, just as it
Yes.
is. Take it all like it, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So, Janette Machete, aka Empress Lyricist B.
Yes. AKA Empress Lyricist B. I like that. And how did you come across the Empress Lyricist B? What?
Well, I've always been what people will call a wordsmith,
Right.
and I ghostwrite many lyrics for songs, for speeches, funeral, weddings, etc., etc.
Hmm.
And the title was almost given to me. Oh, you're so lyrical. You know, you really are a lyricist. You really are a wordsmith.
Hmm.
Because my surname is Barrett, it had to be the B. So, and I consider myself an empress. I consider myself from regal heritage. So why
Amen.
not Empress Lyricist B?
Amazing. I love that. Empress Lyricist B. Well done. So, can you continue? Tell us a little bit more about
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm a retired psychiatric nurse. I
Right.
came out of the NHS nursing in 2004 and decided to put my skills into the community because I found that as far as counselling people in the community, we were lacking for our own.
Hmm.
And basically, that was because our culture wasn't understood. and we were labelled with the wrong kind of references, not looked after in the way that was adequate to our needs.
Right.
Heavily medicated, and I wanted to get away from that because I knew that we were a loving people and we strive by practical things as well. We need to have purpose and drive. So I thought, okay, I have got skills in drama, in song, and in my psychiatric training. Why not put all three together and see whether I can find an avenue to help the people in my own community by doing living in nursing care within the families. So training the person themselves that needed the help, as well as the families, because there's no point training someone to seek bettering themselves or to manage their own mental illnesses or neurodiverse issues if the family themselves aren't singing off the same hymn sheet. It has to be a full picture. And obviously I took that from to raise a child, you need a village. The way I brought up. So I put all that together, and that's where I am today now, doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
An interesting story, I must admit, because I read your bio. It was quite long. So I'm going to ask you just a few questions about your bio, because you said you were a psychiatric nurse.
Yes, retired, yes.
Yeah, a retired psychiatric nurse. And what led you, so you talked about what led you to become that, and you retired and you wanted to do something for the community.
Yes.
So what led you to this musical?
The thing is, within my community nursing work, I often do the living, as you said. Okay. Now with this woman, she was actually in a nursing home, respite at the time. I went into that nursing home. I was doing some work in there. I met the family members by off chance because I went in there doing something completely different. It was a meeting, a safeguarding meeting. It was something completely different. And I saw this woman in this wheelchair. Her hair was unkempt and her skin wasn't moisturized. And my heart just said, I'm not having this. I'm not here to nurse or care, but I'm not walking past this woman who could be my mother or my grandmother.
Yeah.
So in my coffee break, I went straight to her. I did her hair. I took my own moisturizer out of my bag and I creamed her up. And when the nursing and caring staff came and saw her, they thought, well, what are you doing to me? You know, we thought I was a relative. I said, oh, you was in the meeting. I didn't know you was a relative. Oh, I've missed this summer. I said, no, I'm not. Well, I just wanted to treat her the way she's supposed to be treated. It wasn't taken very well. Well, I didn't care. I needed to show them how this woman is supposed to be treated. And then from them, the family says, oh, my goodness, you know, they were very grateful. They took my contacts. And once she came out of the respite, I was able to nurse her with the family. And it's supposed to be to cover a holiday, a 2-week holiday. It ended up being 2 years.
Wow.
So that's the level of my commitment. It ended up being 2 years. So when I go in and I do something and I care as if it's my own. Because it could have been me. It could have been any one of us. It could have been any one of my family. And that's the way I see our community.
Absolutely. Now, I note that you've done a lot of acting and musical theatre.
Yes.
What's your background there then?
I haven't got any what I will call professional training under a body. I've got life training. When I was a youngster, I was in a dance and drama school called Sheila Maria's.
Right.
And I learned a lot of my craft then. But because I am 6 out of 7 siblings, I'm the sixth sibling out of 7, and it was 5 girls with myself and 1 boy, I had to fight my corner. I needed to be noticed. So the art of exaggeration was something that I learned over the years, to be seen, to be recognized, to be noticed. And that went on for the rest of my life. I learned creativity, art, spoken word, just to be seen and heard and to stand my ground.
So, what did you? Because it says here that you're a member of the Birmingham Opera Company.
Yes, Birmingham Opera Company, associated member of Gazebo Theatre Company as well. They put ads out and you approach and you become members and you do shows with them. With Gazebo Theatre Company, I've done workshops with them as well as little short films and plays as well. And with Birmingham Theatre Company, I've done several different operas within that company as well as doing my own. So I will go anywhere and do any kind of acting and performing as a community-based thing, as long as the issue of the play or the production is the right issue. And it must be based on truth. That's what I do for. I would do anything that's based on. I don't really go for down the fiction line. That doesn't really interest me. If it's something truthful, that hits my heart, and the passion erupts in me, and then I can give my best.
Was that your inspiration behind writing this play about Merlina Pearl? Was this lady that you had met and listening to her stories?
Yeah, definitely. And the way it came about, first of all, I don't look my age. Most people say that I don't look my age. Okay. I'm in the senior age now. So
you won't ask a lady.
Yeah. So I'm on that thing. I'll be soon be getting a bus pass, but it's on that line. So when I started to nurse this woman, she was like, okay, I did this first bit with the nursing home and everything was fine. And I did this initial 2 weeks and it was fine because she thought it wasn't going to be a long thing. But she thought I was a chick or child. And to the other listeners that are listening, that's somebody that doesn't have much experience, somebody that needs to be told what to do, etc. So when it comes to doing personal tasks, it had to be done correctly. The water have to be white, she says to me, thinking that I wouldn't know what the white water meant. And I knew it was Dettol because she was trying to catch me out.
Old school for sure.
Yeah. It has to be 2 wash rag, 1 for top and 1 for tail. So she's saying things like top and tail as if I wouldn't know. So I'm going, She was trying to catch me out. But when she told me that her father was born in 1903 and nobody can tell her anything and I wouldn't understand how she was brought up and everything, I dropped a clanger in there, ladies. I says, oh, that's very interesting. My father was born in 1909.
Ooh.
6 years difference. So all of a sudden, we are 2 daughters talking about our fathers. Then she had to level up to where I was and understand my background. And we began to become on a level plane. And she could tell me about how she wanted to call me a porridge. And I knew everything she was talking about, and especially how to do it, how to make it right. But when I started to tell her that my father was a naval officer, he was in the Royal American Naval Forces, and he was torpedoed 3 times on 3 different ships.
Ooh.
She was blown away. And how he survived, and he got commendation from Winston Churchill, etc., etc. So it was all war orientated, and he was a survivor. And when I mentioned ships, she said, we can tell you about one ship in particular. You ever hear about the Windrush? Yes, of course I've heard about the Windrush. She said, for real? I says, listen, after my father was established in England, we had a massive house and a car. And the latter years of the Windrush, my father let the rooms out upstairs to these people. Where I say? Sit down. Tell me. So I had to tell her. And then over a period of 2 years, she told me bit by bit her story.
So was she actually on the 1948 Windrush? Yes. Wow.
Yes, she traveled on that ship.
At the
And
age of 21.
that's right. Yes. Just barking on her because she was born the 6th of June 1927. So it was
Wow.
eve of her 21st. Yeah.
So you heard some very good stories there. But before you actually kind of wrote that play, had you written a play before that? Sorry. And okay, you had. And how did you get into? Because I'm sure you said you hadn't gone to study it per se. I could be wrong here. Sorry. But how did you get into playwriting? I mean, you've got loads of things under your belt as well. Your profession was a psychotherapist, I
Yeah.
believe.
Psychiatric.
Yes.
Psychiatric.
Psychiatric,
Yeah.
yeah, psychiatric, and obviously you've got into the arts as well. Now into writing plays. How did that all transition?
Well, way back, I was part of a group called Dance de l'Afrique, and we danced
Hmm.
alongside a group called Kukuma, which is African dancing, and it was all about storytelling.
Hmm.
So I already had that incubated, and we've been asked from 1992 to write short stories, speeches, little workshops, and things for people. That was all mini storytelling. And when it came to me myself, I thought at some point, at the age of 50, I wanted to do my own autobiography.
Mm.
And I wrote 3 books doing that with Marcia M. Spence Publishing House of Wolverhampton. I did 3 books for that. And she told me that I was good at showing and telling. And I thought, you know what? For my own therapy, I'm telling everybody else about therapy. This is for my own therapy. Writing the books were good, but I also wanted to show. So I took my own books and I turned those first into my own plays. And I
So,
had people play me, and I played myself, and I had other people throughout my life. And because of the success of that, I went into doing it for other people too, at
Okay.
request, and also for my own passion and privilege, really.
so in 2023, you were commissioned to do a true story film.
Yeah.
What was that about? And
The
you starred in it as well, by the way.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
film was about a woman called Nurse Brown.
Hmm.
Right. Nurse Brown was the first female nurse that was captured on canvas by a woman called Irene. Now, this woman is she's a white woman, and she wanted to capture this nurse, this black nurse, and tell the story of this black nurse. But there was something special about Nurse Brown, who came from Jamaica. In the picture that's actually in the Wolverhampton Art Gallery still now, she had the symbol of this, which is the Rastafari symbol, but no one knew what it was. So she was above her time, and she wanted to display her beliefs through that canvas. She saw the opportunity and wanted to do that. And when I was approached by Jeffrey Ashcroft to actually play the role, I jumped at it straight away. Truth, you see. Truth. I jumped at it straight away and I took on the role. And even taking on that role and doing it, and that was a short film, and it got some good credits. Jeffrey called me back to do it again, but elaborate on Paulette Wilson's part of the Windrush part of Paulette Wilson, Wolverhampton, and sadly passed away. May she rest in peace. But I'd have that addition to the story, and again, of course, truth. I was in there like that. So this time I directed it as well as starred in it as well, playing 2 roles. So that's the kind of thing that I flip back and forth
Yes.
in.
I noticed that. Can we watch this film anywhere?
It is on the StreamYard. I mean,
Hmm.
I can contact you later and get the
And send us those details. So,
yeah.
so why don't you tell us a little bit about Merlina Pearl, Merle Mackenzie?
Yes.
Well, Merlina Pearl, born 6th of June 1927.
Hmm.
Now, before her oncoming demise, because she's been nursed now, she wanted to ensure that her story was told. She wanted to make sure that not so much that the story was told, but that it was understood. because it was that generational gap where you're trying to instill knowledge and history to your children and grandchildren, and it's not like that now, that was your time, and things like that. So she didn't want to keep hearing those kind of comments, so she wanted to tell it to me and get me to put it in a way that people will be able to digest it and be interested in it and follow it. I've got something on here. The way she told some of the parts, which was deep and upsetting, because of my skill at songwriting as well, I was able to take some of her words and turn them into songs. Some of the songs that I sang back to her while she was still with us, she says, "I don't know how you do it.
Aww.
This is wonderful. You must do it." Yes. And it was like that. The passion that she had was instilled into me to make sure I brought the play to life the way she would have wanted to do it if she could.
Yes.
And if she had the strength to do so. Yes.
A very quick question. What was so special about her life, more so apart from some of the other Windrush stories that we've heard? What drew you to her story so much that it had to be told? Can you give anything away in terms of anything you're going to cover?
Yeah, because the thing is, I've heard over the years. I'm an early '60s born child myself, and I've heard the stories of Windrush, but I've always heard after they've come here, and trying to find somewhere to live and sharing rooms and etc., and how hard it was, and pardon the money, etc., and the racism and the segregation, all these type of things. But I never heard firsthand what it was like on the ship. She was coming from there. She was coming from, you see this we all see the footage of them coming off the Windrush ship. How many times have we seen that footage?
Yeah.
It's viral.
Yes, from New London is the great city. We see that over and over again. But what was it really like on there? We just see them step off in them small, flimsy clothes, and they call and the reporters and everything. I wanted the seasoning, the flavor of what it was like. I wanted the root core of the before. That's what I was interested in, because having that flavor ingested in me gave me the compulsion and the passion to deliver this story the way I felt it, the way she came across with it.
And it's so interesting because, you speak about her with fond memories and the Jamaican tradition she had. And in little snippets, I think, of your resume, you kind of touched upon the play and things that happened on the ship that she experienced that you can so identify with as a Jamaican. It's unbelievable. Like, when you want to wash your smalls, and what to wash it with, and having faced with, because I think what people didn't realise is that the Windrush didn't only just have black people. It sailed to Bermuda, Mexico, Cuba, I think, as well. It had some Polish Jews on there also. So it was a plethora of people and a set of cultures to deal with. And I don't know if they knew who they were sharing with, whether it was everyone of the same culture or different cultures. So you had to navigate from coming from Jamaica, maybe it's country, to then dealing with someone that's of a completely different culture, and you're kind of bringing your Jamaican traditions and ways that people don't quite understand. And so that was nice hearing about just that small bit.
Yeah, I thought it was important because actually Jamaica has a lot of heritage with Jews, a lot of Jewish heritage. Some people don't delve deep enough to know that. And I wanted to bring that part of the story, because when she was telling me about the Polish people on board, a lot of people didn't know that there was Polish people on board the Windrush as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
So for her to tell me that part of it and how she connected with this one particular woman and the story of this one particular woman, I says, I've got to inject that in. Any which way I can, I've got to give power to that as well, and power to the history of the Jamaican Jews, you know, and how many people settled in Stoke Newington, you know, and how many Jewish people rented rooms out to the Windrush people. You know, yeah, it was a bit expensive, but you know, they got good rooms, better rooms than they did anywhere else. So that was important.
So one of the things I note is in the sort of the synopsis of the musical, you've written that at the time she didn't really want to come. No. She had the weight of her family borne on her shoulders.
Yes.
So does the musical actually highlight that side of things as well?
Very, very much so. I could imagine she just trained up for her midwifery. Okay, she wanted to do it in Jamaica with her own people. She was thinking, okay, Jamaica was impoverished, and she wanted to do all of that in Jamaica and make her way. She tell all of her friends, you know, she passed, she wanted to celebrate, and all of a sudden this news coming over about this NHS in the mother country, you know, and the family members wanted to send her over there, you know, to start her by herself, you know, from St. Elizabeth, country girl, and going to the motherland, this city. Pictures what you see of London and Big Ben and all these different kind of things, hard concrete, and she's coming away from her fruit trees and all the rest of it on her own. But she couldn't swim good.
Yes.
She couldn't swim good, and she's going on this big steel house. You know, how daunting would that have been? But she knew that, you know, the whole family was relying on her because she was the one that passed through and was more than likely guaranteed to get a good job.
So speaking of water, because you say she couldn't swim, I'm just going to read this out. You say, one morning, as a proud Jamaican woman, she wasn't going to be harbouring any dirty clothes on her grip. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, when she was telling me this, she says, I didn't even put the quality of the smells that she was getting on, you know. But she says, you know, she was talking about how she would walk down the corridor and she swears the animals must be somewhere about because how this smell. And she said, there's no way, because they only had a few possessions.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure the possessions was kept, and they was worried. And it's 3 weeks traveling, you know, and they got a few clothes that they had to rotate, you know, and they're women, so the women issues too.
Yes.
So they wanted to make sure the first thing they could do was to find something to catch water in and to wash out their smalls the first chance they got. That was most important. But water on board was scarce. So to make sure that they got that, you could imagine the determination to ensure that they could catch water and wash out their smalls and hang them up and make sure that they remain fresh as possible.
So what about that? Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, I don't think we realise, I mean, some of us that was born in the 60s realised what life was like in terms of, and in the Caribbean, what it's like to have to wash out your smalls separate from washing, let alone having a washing machine to wash them in. And even when they were introduced, they were still like, wash them separately, you know, wash them till they're white, that sort of thing. But you must have heard so many stories from this young lady, and it must have been hard to try and get all of the stories in to the play. There must have been some that you probably had to leave out, which was difficult.
It has been edited beyond. It was like a jumper, and somebody got the end of the wool and was just unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. And to edit and cut, it was a nightmare. I mean, the play really, if I wanted to put in everything that was essential, it's a 4 hour. It's a 4 hour.
Wow.
So you got your intermission.
Yeah. Because there's couples, you see, the introduction of couples. There's Merlina who found a love interest with a Mr. Bertie Mackenzie.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And there's Sheila who found a love interest with Harold, who was in the RAF. And then there is Winston, who found a love interest with Ramona, the Polish woman. And that is so interesting, the story. Because when Merlina was looking for lodgings after she did her midwifery training, the people that came to her rescue after she birthed the child of Winston and Ramona, integration, they took her into their home, right? And in the hospital, when she started to work in the hospital, who was in the hospital? No, Bertie as an orderly.
Wow.
He was working in the factory first. That's what he came for. That's what his work was going to be, but he couldn't handle it. Bertie was a very smart, dressed gentleman, very clean. The factory just didn't suit him. So he went into the hospital where he thought the hospital would be clean, disinfectant, and you have to be clean in the hospital. That's the only thing that interests him. And Merlina was walking down the corridor one day to go to midwifery, and she was so proud she finally had made it. And who was coming down the corridor with a patient on the trolley? No, Bertie! So there's all of that I wanted to encapsulate into the story, but it's so long. So what I tried to do was develop songs to tell part of the story, to
Yes.
interlock it.
Can you sing one of the songs? Just a little snippet.
Okay. I could sing when Merlina felt lost and abandoned because they said her paperwork wasn't sufficient and she would have to start to train from scratch as a nurse first.
Wow.
It would be a period of years, you know. So she thought she was going to let the family down. She wouldn't be able to send the money home, and that means the 5 years that she had in her mind and she'll be returning might extend. She felt trapped. She said, Merlina actually told me that she felt like a little bird trapped in a cage.
Wow.
So, on the song Blackbird. Okay, so this is how it goes. I felt like nothing but a blackbird. Yes, a blackbird. I felt like nothing but one blackbird, trapped in a cage, full of rage, looking out at the sky, asking myself, why me? I should be free, we should be free. Why me? Look how far we come, our tomorrow should have sprung. That's why we traveled here. That's why we traveled, coming from the sun. We all thought it would be fun to face our inner fear. We are not to blame, why them making us feel shame? Them politics to blame, them politics. We are salt and light, and even in this plight, we're going to make things right. We blackbirds, blackbirds, just fledging the nest to see. Blackbirds, blackbirds. I pray the Lord they see, just fledging the nest to see. I pray the Lord they see, we blackbirds.
Oh.
Absolutely amazing. You have a beautiful voice, by the way.
You really do.
Yeah. And you wrote that song.
Yes. All the songs I wrote.
Amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
So, very quickly, is this going to be the launch of Merlina Pearl? Has this been launched before? Is this June the 28th?
Yeah, I've done Merlina Pearl as monologues, like something like this here, monologues, as a mini workshop and a mini part of the play. But this musical, as I said, it should be 4 hours. So we've had a 1 hour, 15-minute play, and it's now a 2 hour. Right. I'm trying to develop it a lot more, put in more of the stuff. So who knows where it's going to go? I just need someone to bite the big fat carrot dangling. You know what I mean?
So you performed last weekend. Where did you perform last
We
weekend?
performed at the MAC, which is the Midlands Arts Centre in Birmingham,
Right.
and that was a sellout, full house
Yes.
show. And fortunately, we've received good reviews on that. One of the family members of Merlina was actually there and very, very pleased with how it went. So, yeah,
That's
that was,
wonderful.
yeah.
And this weekend you're going to be?
I'm going to be at Luton, the Hat Factory in
Yeah.
Luton,
Yeah.
on Friday, and the doors open at 5, and the show starts at 5:30 prompt. It's an unfortunate time being a Friday, 5:30. You're just going to slip in from work all
I
sweaty and everything.
know. I wish I could be there.
Wow.
When someone's offering you something and it's there, because I'm self-funding and I just have to grab the hands when I,
Yes.
you know.
And would you be putting on the show again elsewhere in the future?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm in talks for Tiger Bay Cardiff. Next year, I wanted to start off in Manchester. I know a woman called Keisha Adair Swabi from Diamond Radio and Moods Radio who wants to help me out putting it on in Manchester. So it will start in
Oh,
Manchester.
wonderful.
Then it will go to Cardiff, Tiger Bay. Then it will come across to Birmingham. I want to do Birmingham and Wolverhampton. And then it will go down to Luton and London.
Fantastic.
That's the plan.
And have you been met with any resistance in trying to put this musical on stage?
Ah! Not any resistance putting the musical on. It has been welcomed. The only resistance is getting the funding. Right, because it's like, okay, they'll put it for flag raising, or they'll put it for something else, they'll put it for this, or they'll put it for that, so, but block me as much as you like, because what they don't seem to understand is that I'm a hurdle jumper.
So you jump through hoops and
jump over the hurdle, and I would jump through a burning hoop to put this thing on. And
Bless
any
you.
true story that I've been given or of my own, since 1992, I have been doing this on my own. I did plays through COVID at the Legacy Centre of Excellence in Birmingham, and it was the only theatre production that went on during COVID.
Well done.
Wow, well done.
Right, and we were told we can have 25% capacity. We had the 25% capacity in that hall, and I put my show on.
Wow.
That's my determination. Listeners, you see me? Janette Machete will cut
Janette Machete, you know.
Put the show on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of my last questions is, do you have any plans to explore similar themes in your work, or are you going to expand outside of Windrush and have a look to see what else you can explore?
Yeah, well, like I said, anything that is true. I'm an advocate for neurodiverse issues. I'm a dyslexic myself, so helping people like that put their stories out. I've done workshops in schools and colleges already, so extending in that field. Singer-songwriting. I'm also working within rehabilitation situations as well. So it's very, very strongly community-based. Serving a purpose, helping the community grow, helping them deliver their stories. That's my bag. That's my
bag too. So
and where can people sort of get to know you? Like, what are your social media handles?
I haven't really got the TikTok or anything like that. No, what I will call the younger people's medium platforms. I've got the old-fashioned one, the Fiercely book. I've got that, and I've got Instagram. I think I gave them to you, so that can flash across the screen if necessary.
Yeah.
But as far as my stories, if people want to contact me personally and have me to ghostwrite or help them put a story across, it's just my email, because that's what my production status is from, and that's all lowercase, lyricist B, pen to page, lyricist B, pen to page at outlook.com. Lyricist B, pen to page at outlook.com.
Hopefully, Lady B will flash that up across the screen for
Yeah, it
anyone
will
that
be
wants
coming
to.
up any minute now.
Well, that's all from me. I've had a fabulous time talking to you. You're one interesting young lady, done so many things, and especially having the privilege of actually speaking with Merlina Pearl and getting to understand her experiences and all of her stories over a period of 2 years. That's got to be so interesting. We can so learn from our older generation. I just hope that your stories will resonate with our young ones and that people will be inspired to go and see this play if they are around Luton. Thank you so much, Janette.
Can I quote one thing from Merle myself? Have I got time to do
Yes, you do.
Of course, Lady
This is
B's
an
gonna end the
important
show.
thing because many people say that we are the children of the Windrush, second generation, everything. But Merlina, she told me, that's not her real name, it's close. She told me that they were the children of the Windrush. And this is what she quoted. We were like a newborn, she said, birthed into the unknown and placed into our mother's lap. But our mother didn't want us. We grew like orphans, wandering around in the wilderness, looking for shelter, then work so we could buy food. But even to do that, we were rejected and forsaken. We could only rely on each other, sharing rooms, even beds. It was a great deal to carry in we head. Only with pride blocked the shame. We rather suffer together, and even if it was a heavy burden, some did everything in them power to bring over to England them children. To me, all away we come off of the ship are the first real children of the Windrush, because we had to learn and grow to integrate here in the midst of being told and shown to segregate when reading signs of racial hate. That was her quote to me.
That was really beautiful, actually.
Really was.
And it's nice to have the story of the elders told, because we should never forget our elders and the sacrifices they made. So I really applaud you for telling this story, because it's one that should be told over and over again, lest we forget.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, lest we forget.
Thank you, both of you, so much. It's been an honor.
Not at all. Thank you so much for coming on. It's Janette Machete.
Janette the Machete.
And she's come to grace us with our presence, the producer and the director of the musical Merlina Pearl, A Windrush Story, showing in Luton this weekend. Can we still get tickets at the box office?
Yes, you can. There are some left still.
Good.
Please support.
Yes, indeed.
And where can they get the tickets?
It's the Cultural Trust website, Cultural Trust link. I think you have got it already. Mm-hmm. So it is attached to that flyer that you had.
Okay.
Yeah, once we get the link, you can actually choose your seats. Okay.
Right.
So that's even better.
Well, I want to say a big thank you. I'm going to pop that information in the Mixcloud chat room for those who are interested to go to see this play on Friday, the 28th of June. Janette Machete, I will never forget you.
I will be playing the old and the young Merle. I would actually be playing her.
So, yes, I understand that you've been playing her, both young and old.
Yes.
So you played her at the age of just before she turned 21.
Yeah.
And then as she aged, you played her as well.
I'm loving and playing her.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very, very much, Janette.
Thank you.
And I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to post your socials in the Mixcloud chat room, and anyone who wants to buy tickets, I'll post that link as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and have a
good
remainder of the evening and week.
And the same to you.
Blessings to you both. I appreciate it.
Not at all.
We appreciate you too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well,
right.
Wasn't that a story and a half?
That was a story and a half. She's got the benefit of so much experience of having to And I don't think people realise this. Our older generation do have wisdom and experience, have been here before social media, Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. And the stories they've got to tell and the things that they had to endure was a lot. And I listen fondly when I speak to any older person and the things that they have gone up to, the dances, the camaraderie way back in the day compared to what it is now. So it's a shame that I can't go and see the play this weekend, but I'm doing something else. But any time that this young lady is putting on this play again or anywhere, I shall definitely spend a worthy 4 hours and go and see her. Well done to you, Lady B. Great show.
Well, thank you very much.
Honoured to co-host. I'm going to run now and leave you to end the show.
I shall indeed. All right. Thank you so much for your assistance. HBQ. Thank you. Okay, so that is the show. I'm going to put on a little music whilst I post the socials and the link in case you want to buy a ticket to go and see the show. Okay, so I've posted the link in the Mixcloud chat room for you to go if you want to go and see the show. And doors open at 5:10 prompt. It's at the Hat Factory in Luton. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to be bringing you another show sometime in the future. Cheers. Good night.